Hello, beautiful. Welcome to Stepping into the Light with Julia Treat. That's me, your host from juliatreat.com. I'm thrilled to have you with us today. I've brought a special guest. I already have goosebumps, special guest. And as I was thinking about the title of this podcast, I thought it's just joy, living in joy, because that is what Lynn exudes, and you're going to see that. She is just beaming of so much light. So Lynn, thank you so much for joining me today on this discussion.
Oh my gosh, it's such an honor to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, so I met Lynn actually through ASEA, but I met her in Sedona in person during my last retreat this past spring, just a couple months ago. I remember I had started ASEA and I was like, oh, I'm going to Sedona. I don't want to be without. And Danielle, who's been on my show, your daughter,
yes,
she's the one that healed from the TBI after using ASEA. She said, my mom lives in Sedona, just have some shipped to her. I'm like, what? Okay. So it was super easy. I had it shipped to you and we met, and you have so much love within you. Just when I saw you get out of your car, when you hugged me, I was like, this is, I think a lot of us still feel like this is who I want to be.
Oh.
And you even were like reminding me, Julie, you can do more. So thank you for that, because you made me realize, all right, girl, you got to step your game up in this joy and love situation. Hello, Sharon.
You're already doing so much. It's already there. It's within you.
So talking about the joy, being in joy, living in joy every day, and that, with everything going on in the world, it can be, I think some might be having difficulty finding a way to do that. And I wanted to talk with you today on how we can shift into that joy, because we've both been through stuff that took us out of the joy, maybe down a few levels. And then we had to find our way back up again. And I think everything is here to teach us to find our way back up. So up that emotional scale, that ladder.
Yes. Because I think what happens often, and the last 2.5 years have been like right in our face with this, is many of us think that life is happening to us, right? And that we're just a victim being pulled and swayed by it. And yet, honestly, and there's a great book, Power versus Force, that where it talks about, all these events, they're external from us. It's how we respond and react to them that not only creates our reality, but also creates, are we willing to give away our peace for whatever that situation is? Because we have control over that response. And one of the things that I teach in one of my trainings, one of the examples is, you're sitting at the airport, and this has happened to all of us, right? You're sitting at the airport ready to get on your flight, and they announce that maybe it's a 3-hour delay. And you just watch around you how different people respond. Some people immediately get so upset and angry, they've just disturbed their own peace. They get very riled up, and other people are like, all right, it is what it is, right? I can't change it. Mm-hmm. So maybe I'll go grab a cup of coffee. Maybe I'll go get a book at the store. It's just, we have control of that always. And I know that this past 2.5 years, it's been really a struggle for a lot of people, and including kids, the isolation, being cut off from all the socialization and things like that. It's very easy to step out of joy. But I personally believe that joy is our birthright. I remember one of the tantric teachings. I've taught yoga and yoga philosophy for decades. It's all about finding more joy, less fear, right? Because when you're in joy, there can't be fear. And we live in a world that promotes fear, and we can get swept up in it. But if you just step back and find joy in the simplest things, if you're feeling overwhelmed, just find one thing that brings a smile to your face. Maybe it's a hummingbird outside your window, we were talking earlier, and I said, maybe it's you're taking a walk and it's early morning and there's dew on the grass and the sun hits it and it just sparkles like jewels. Just little things that you don't notice normally. But when you start to be very present, all those things can bring a smile to your face. And it's those little steps, I think, that help us reclaim that joy.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And you said it's our birthright. Interestingly enough, on the description of this, which you don't know, I had put that joy, love, peace, and abundance is our birthright. And it's time we step back into that. We claim it.
I love that.
But we've been programmed and taught to believe it comes a different way. So this is going to bring you joy if you have this thing, or if you watch this thing, or where it's, you already have it within you. And it's, again, when you start shifting that vibration of what brings you joy, the things you notice, and you'll start noticing more of those, what I call little miraculous things, even a purple butterfly flying around my foot at Seven Tubs, a place that I go to often, which my listeners know about, that I've never seen anywhere else, but this purple butterfly will follow me around Seven Tubs. And I have more joy in that moment with that butterfly than getting my new car. I'm not sure, but anyway, it was close. Which, those things are okay, but I'm not searching for joy in those things.
Yes. And, I think that's a key point that you just said. It's not that you can't have material possessions and material goods and get joy from them, but I think it's that we think that if it's gone, we lose our joy. They're there to enjoy, etc. But the true joy, the everlasting joy, comes from within. And until we can realize that and actually live that, the world, like you said, the world would love us to think that everything that's going to make us whole and complete and joyful is out there, right? The new car, the perfect spouse or boyfriend, girlfriend, that whatever it is. And yet those things are impermanent, right? Mm-hmm. And if you lose them, maybe a fire or a flood or financial reasons, whatever, if you're not grounded in you and know that that comes from within you, it can be devastating. It's going to be devastating anyway. But I always think back, there's a Buddhist teaching about pain and sorrow, right? Or pain and suffering, not pain and sorrow, where it's like, one arrow, it happened, and you should feel some pain, right? It is painful to lose things. Yep. But if a year later, you're still rehashing that and you're still in this terrible space, in this low vibrational space, that's suffering. And they always say, pain is part of life, suffering is optional. So the more we can be within and know that there's so much joy out there. And just as, like you said, that little purple butterfly, mm-hmm. Everywhere you look, there's something that can bring a smile to your face.
Yeah. It's, again, I'm tagging on those things you said, because and this is how this works. Because I'll think, I'm going to mention this, and then she says something about, this is really being connected. This is connected with our soul brothers and sisters, and that connection. So if you're looking, I always tell people, kind of look at, do a self-discovery thing. Look at yourself. Are you looking for joy in your companion? Is it their job to make sure you're happy? Because that is not their job. I mean, that's you're going to fire them. You're going to fire yourself. Someone's going to get fired from that job. But, and I even, can find myself at times, some triggers might happen, and I might go into that space, of, okay, now he's not doing what he should do on his end. And now, but then I'm like, wait a minute, that's the old story. And that isn't even true. And the more that we find that joy within ourselves, the joy and love, I can promise you, either your companion, the one you're with, is going to give that to you, more of that, or they will leave, and the one that's coming to give you that will show up. Hopefully that makes sense. I feel like I got all these words tangled in there.
No, that's so true. It's interesting that training I was talking about earlier, there's something we call it weather patterns, that every person, and you can even think of it on a soul level, that, a lot of the ancient yogis believe that souls come in groups, and they're there to help each other evolve, right? So the people in your life, whether it's colleagues, family members, spouse, kids, whatever it is, friends, they're all in your life to help teach you something about yourself. If you can look at it like that, right? We said at the very beginning, most people look at life as happening to them instead of happening for them, right? So what am I supposed to learn from different situations? So one of the examples we give is like weather patterns. Just like you were, saying, your spouse might do something, maybe they forgot your birthday or something. And it was just, they forgot, but it might trigger in you all these emotions. And instead of, if you can be present enough, instead of getting upset with them for forgetting, because it was just, they forgot, right? Yeah. Take that moment to look inside and go, okay, that's fascinating. Why did that trigger that? Because there's some little program left over from somewhere maybe, I'm not important or I'm not enough, or these crazy beliefs we have in our head that really prevent us from living life fully and joyfully. So when we can take those relationships and the events that happen in life and try to see them as happening for a reason, it helps us grow.
It does, absolutely. And I think that's key, is catching yourself when you're in that. You can find yourself in that chaos and just pausing and breathing and saying, okay, I'm going to shift. What is this here to teach me? What is this here to teach me? And you will get, whether it's an idea, someone will show up, something happens, and I got chills. It's going to show up one way or another. As soon as you ask the question, I know the importance of asking questions to the universe. What is this here to teach me? What am I here to do today? What's the best way I can serve today? What is it, my purpose today? I ask questions all the time.
Right.
Instead of me deciding what it's going to be or has to be this way or that way. It's and if this last couple of years hasn't taught us anything, it's that we must be very flexible.
Very flexible.
Able to pivot. I get it. We just like pivot. I think you said pivot. Did you?
I did say pivot. You have to be.
I love it. So even, Donna's message here. Her mom passed 2 weeks ago. Asked to send her a woodpecker to let her know she's okay, and she sent the woodpecker. Ask your loved ones for signs, ask your pets for signs, ask them for signs, and get out of, I love that you asked for the exact sign and got it. That's cool. I have no other people that do that, but also just being open to any ways that she may be able to appear to you. Because, a lot of people are suffering loss right now of loved ones and even animals. And I see them now as your guardian angels helping you. They're helping you from another plane. We are eternal beings. We're in this, what I call a costume. And that's another thing we can beat up a lot, is our costume, even with our words. And then our costume listens to us. It says, oh yeah, you hate me? Well, okay, I'm going to hate you back then. So that's why my podcast since day one, 2015, every time I say, hello, beautiful, I want you to hear it from me, but I think everyone should start saying it to themselves every day, all day long, even if you don't believe it yet. Okay. I started that practice. I love you, Julia. I love you, Julia. I'd look in the mirrors and I would cry. It almost brings back tears now because I didn't.
Yeah. And nobody does that. I think that's a powerful practice. Look in the mirror and say, good morning, beautiful. I love you.
Yeah.
And it will. I think it'll bring many of us to tears.
Whew. So yeah. And do it through the tears, because you're breaking through those feelings that you're not loved or that you're not supposed to feel loved, and especially not supposed to love yourself. Right. So you're breaking through those layers. And, we all have things happen in our lives. We're like, I'm on cloud 9. I'm going, this is it. I made it finally. And nothing ever is going to happen again. And then boom, something happens. Yeah. And I know your story. I've heard your story, and I don't know if everyone has here, and I'd like you to share how, I don't know if that was a time for you when what happened with Danielle getting hit by the drunk driver. If that was a time and you went, wait, our life was great. And then all of a sudden, is that how it was? If you can take us through that.
Life itself, there's so many different aspects to our lives, right? You've got your career life, personal relationship life, etc. When Danielle was hit by that drunk driver, as a parent, watching this shining child who was just so articulate and so full of life and vibrant and just ready to conquer the world, living her ideal life, doing Teach for America, working with inner city kids, and then doing her passion on the weekends of snowboarding, to watch all of that stop and to see her in a place where, she couldn't find words, or personality was changed. She was sleeping 18 hours a day. We had blackout fabric in the house because she couldn't handle light, noise, and trying literally dozens and dozens and dozens of modalities for 2 years. It was a dark time, I will say. I never lost hope, because I just, I do a lot of meditation. I've got spiritual practices, but I really didn't know for her life, was she ever going to get back to a place where she could be that light again? And one of the things that we did after a neurologist basically told her she'd done all the healing she could do and just get used to this new normal, which I just am floored that anyone would even tell that to anyone, much less a young person, because first of all, what we think matters, right? Our thoughts create our reality. And second of all, you don't know what's coming around the corner technology wise that might be the answer, might be the missing link, which is what ended up happening. But because we hadn't found anything, and her cognitive therapist was instrumental in this, we started a gratitude journal, back to our talk about joy, right? And we got this journal, and throughout it, in random pages, I would put different quotes. And then every day she would find something, just one thing at first, that she was grateful for, or that made her smile, or that brought her joy. And it was a struggle at first. But once she realized, and there's so much in nature and just around us when we're present, and that started to become a key that helped her come back to a level of happiness and joy that she hadn't found before, because she had lost so much. She lost many of her friends were gone because they were off leading their lives in their careers, right? And she was stuck at home. She couldn't work. So there were a lot of things that she lost, and at first couldn't see, how do I make it through this? But starting with that little journal, and that's why as we were talking earlier, for those of us who, are going through a dark time, whether it's COVID, or even maybe it was something that was before COVID, COVID affected a lot, but a lot of us were suffering before then.
Mm-hmm.
So just being able to find one thing a day, and it's not easy at first, but that can start you on that path to really discovering that it's all inside, where you're going to get that sense of love, acceptance, joy. It's coming from within, because you are loved, you are whole, and you just have to recognize it. So ultimately, she found that bit of peace. And then, as when you're seeking something and you're putting it out there,
mm-hmm.
you're going to get that match. It's going to become a reality. And that's when the Redox came into our lives.
Great. I love that story, and I've heard it, and it just reminds me of even me. I was praying for a miracle for humanity when this all started. And I don't know why I'm so emotional today. And they're used to it. But I'm so grateful, because I was praying for this miracle for everyone. And I didn't remember this. I have people reach out and tell me, when I learned about ASEA, because it showed up a year later, I don't know why I'm so emotional. It's in gratitude. But when I started talking about it, I said, guys, it's here. This is it. This is the miracle we've all been waiting for. I don't care what you've done to your body. This is it. This is the thing. People started reaching out. Like, Julia, you gave me a reading like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever. Last year, a lot of people reached out and said, during the reading, you said something is going to show up that we ingest,
Wow.
And it's going to be the miracle for humanity. And I don't remember readings when I do them. Right. And so just to get that validation from everyone that it was here, and guys, I don't know why I'm just so grateful, because we get paid in goosebumps. You guys say that a lot. I get paid in like tears of joy. So
absolutely.
But I know that when it came in, Danielle was skeptical. She's a biologist, by the way. I am really crocodile tears today. And I don't know if you know this about me, Lynn, but I'm a speech pathologist. I have a master's degree in that. And
I know that.
And I was doing that when all these abilities came out all of a sudden one day. And I was seeing children, but I did work with a lot of adults. And it was frustrating, not even just what doctors would tell them, but it's frustrating as a therapist wanting their miracle to happen, yet only being able to get them to a certain point. Now, I was known as the miracle therapist because I called the angels in to help with everything I did always. But now with this technology, I know the miracles are happening for a lot of people. And I'm kind of skipping ahead, but do you foresee, or do you think this will ever be something that we will be able to use in like those settings? I'm just curious. I just thought of that this morning. Like, if therapists just use it, like putting on their carotid,
Yes. I think there's therapists out there now using it. I think it depends on the setting. because I think if you're in a more traditional like hospital setting, they're going to have more control over what modalities the therapist can use. But I absolutely think that is going to happen.
And did I see a show where you were talking? Was it what college? Was it Harvard? What medical school is using this? Is
Harvard.
ASEA. Harvard's using ASEA now to teach.
They're using it in their research because it's the only stabilized form of the molecules that people have access to.
Okay.
Dozens of universities and biotech labs are experimenting with Redox, but because the molecules are so reactive, they're only viable for like 20 minutes before they revert to saline again. So you can only do so much research with it.
Okay.
But my understanding is that Harvard is actually getting ASEA in their labs and doing research with actual ASEA. And I think more and more universities and other places are starting to do that.
And I think that is a big wink about this, the whole, new earth that the way that things are going to be, that will then be in the medical establishment. So that's very exciting to know that.
It is. It is.
And I know when it came across your lap, I mean, did you have that feeling, this is it, this is what we've been waiting for Danielle? Or were you like, I don't know if this is, but we'll see? What did you do?
It's funny. The person who brought it into my life was a yoga nidra student of mine. She's an acupuncturist. And I just trusted her implicitly. I never questioned it. I didn't know anything about redox molecules, but I just had a sense that we needed to try this. And then, of course, Danielle's skepticism, she was like, nope. So I had some serious issues with my hands at the time. I couldn't make a fist. My knuckles were huge. I'm bone on bone in every finger. So, and it was not pleasant. Okay. I couldn't tie my shoes. I couldn't push my covers off at night. So I decided to try it. Danielle was not interested at all, and I wasn't going to push her. Honestly, we had tried, just dozens and dozens of things over 2 years, and I wasn't going to push. But within 6 weeks, I could make a fist again. And the discomfort was seriously reduced. Now it's like I have full range of motion back. And every rheumatologist told me that, this can't be reversed. It's just going to get worse. You just need pain meds. And I was not ready to go that route.
Yeah. Amazing.
It is amazing, And so my husband saw that, and he'd had a knee injury in college football. So he's super athletic, but he always wore a brace when he worked out or did yard work. So he decided to take it. And within 2 weeks, he's running around without a knee brace and getting all these athletic benefits. So he's like, does this do something for athletics? I was like, I don't know. I did no research, you guys, none. I just really trusted and sensed, I knew it couldn't hurt us. But that's when we sat Danielle down finally and said, look, let's give this 6 months. What if this is the missing link? Because if it's not, we just put it in the pile of all the things we've tried that didn't work. But there's something different about this. And that's when she finally decided to try it.
I love that. And I know she said she had her big moment at 3 months is when she started. Yes. And I can't even imagine. I can't imagine if she had a party, if she jumped up and down, like what happens. Because I've worked with patients in the past, clients who had that. I can't imagine like I'm actually back, and if not better than I was before. Just putting it out there if that's a possibility. And now she is like one of the top spokespeople for the company. So again, guys, things happen for us. For us.
Yes.
And this happened for Danielle. That happened for Danielle. And even her little stubborn spot where I'm not sure, because I understand that you finally want to give up because you've tried everything, but something within her said, okay, fine. And it happened for her so that she can help others find their way out of their own hell. I call it hell. Just like,
yeah. I completely believe that. And it's interesting because a lot of people in a situation like that could have played a victim, right? Oh my gosh, look what happened to me. But it's interesting too, because the universe is always sending you signals, messages, little subtle ones. Often, if you're not listening, it's going to be something big like a car accident, right? If you're not on the path you should be. And it's interesting because so often we don't see those because we're expecting messages maybe to come wrapped up in a nice tidy bow or something really obvious. So it's easy to miss it. But I truly believe that this happened, and I know she does too now. And I love the courage she had to go through it. And now looking back, saying this happened to me because it needed to happen to me, because otherwise I never would have been on the path I'm on.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been in a place. Now she was doing good. I mean, she was working with these inner city kids, and they adored her, and she was just bringing so many positive things into their lives. But now she's in a place where she can impact tens of thousands, if not more. And
Right.
I think that is her gift, and that's why this happened. Introduced her to a way that she could really become a beacon to others.
Well, you just gave me a message of my own. So, things always happen for a reason. And I say that because you talked about her helping this number of children, and then boom, this happened. And now she's helping tens of thousands. And I've had something fall into my lap that will catapult me in front of millions. And this is something I'm working through. So I've had, we all have past lives too. So I'm working through that as I'm pushing through these. I have no block. Every day I get up like no blocks. I'm going forward. So there's a lot coming up, guys. You'll be hearing about that because I'm going for it. So, and it's something universe has halted so much for me because I had to do this. And I know that. I know I got to pivot. When you keep doing the same thing over and over and over, that's just madness. That literally makes you crazy. And if whatever's going on in your life, it is not working, pivot. And
Yes.
And I also want to say too, if I may, I know you have something else after this. Okay, I'll just check in time.
No, we're good. We've got plenty of time.
Okay, the way the world is right now, it's like split into all these groups. Okay, and all different levels, and all going through all kinds of different things. And it's so important right now that you connect with the group that's lifted, however you want to be, right? That you get closer to those people, the ones that, Lynn, Miss Joy-filled, I was like, can't wait to interview Lynn. Will you come on my show? And I text her occasionally with questions, but I'm putting myself with the people that I feel are my tribe. Your tribes can actually shift. Your soul family can shift. And that's another thing to think about. Am I happy in the tribe? I hope you're not alone. I pray you're not going through this alone and you find at least one like-minded person, okay? This is not time to pull in and be a recluse, okay? We're not here to be that way. Right, Lynn? You get this?
Absolutely not. We are social beings. We need community. We need people.
Absolutely. We're here to have community.
Saying this because there was spend time with people who make you more. I had a mentor say that to me once, right?
Yeah.
People who are going to lift you up, bring you to the next vibrational version of you. Mm-hmm. Because if you are, like you just said, if you're doing the same things over and over and over and over again, it is madness. But the only way to break out of that is for you to come up to another state. So who are you spending your time with, right? Because you become the company you keep.
Yes.
You keep good company.
Yes, and if you have to, you just do what I did with my partner, and I said, you better level up, buddy, or we're not hanging out too much together. They all know about Michael. I'd be like, buddy, you better, because, it takes just a trigger. Okay, look at my 401k. I go, well, stop looking at them. Stop looking at them. Yes. That means that you believe that's all that you have right there. Okay, and that is so limiting. It's so limiting. It's BS, and we got to stop this. So he's come a long way. I'm still trying to help him. Thank you for that, Donna. Yeah, see here. Just placed another order yesterday. I ran out and definitely feel it different. I know if you run out, you're going to be able to tell. You have a torn meniscus, and it's helping me. I'm using the Renew 28 gel for now till I get the bottles. Yes, dear. I want to talk about going into this. When I heard about this, I think I saw something with Jay and April on Spiritually Raw. I think they had Danielle, or maybe Jay, maybe he invited me to a meeting, and Danielle was there, and there's a couple more people, and everyone was telling their story, and I was at a vibration. I didn't sleep all night. I couldn't sleep that night because I was so excited. I was like a little kid jumping up and down in the middle of the night downstairs while he's sleeping. You brought it. I know you're going to bring it. I know this is a miracle. This is what I was doing. And so I had gotten into a place. as joyful as possible with a knee that had fluid on it, and I couldn't work out. I couldn't do my yoga for over a year. That's so good for my soul to do my yoga. And I was struggling to be in a higher vibe sometimes because my body, I couldn't move my body. So important to move our body somehow. And so I got it. And I didn't do any research. I started drinking it. And I went full out 8 ounces every day, 2 ounces 4 times a day. And within about 4 days, it was just a few days, the fluid was gone from my knee. I had zero pain. Now, guys, that's just my experience, okay? Just so you know, if you have something on it, might take a little longer, it might not. Went to the chiropractor who I was going to weekly. She'd have to adjust my knee. And she just got to my knee and she's like, what? Wait, and this is over a year she's adjusting it. She goes, what happened? What happened to your knee? And I said, I started drinking this blue bottle, the stuff in the blue bottle. I started drinking this stuff. So she has been a witness. I'm going on 4 months now, to my body. Every week I go, she says, I cannot believe your body. She's worked on me for, I'm going to say probably 8 years, every week. She said, I can't believe the shift in your body. It's so relaxed. Your spine is staying in. All the things that used to be out. I had a car accident. I used to have bulging stuff here. Oh, it was so painful. So much discomfort, and that's gone. I don't have that anymore. So as I've been preaching the gospel of ASEA, that's what I call, I coined that term because it just came out of my mouth. I used to say the gospel of Julia, and I'm like, okay, no. It's the God. It's always God's gospel by, source God. But it's the gospel of ASEA that if you give it the chance, it will absolutely change your life.
Oh, absolutely. I've been in wellness for decades, and it is honestly the most revolutionary thing I have seen. And it's because it's so nonspecific. It helps every cell in the body. And the longer you're on it, the more things shift and come into balance. It's been remarkable. It's just been remarkable. And we are only at the beginning. I think, to your point earlier about will we see it with therapists and things like that, I think we are literally at the beginning.
Yeah, I believe this is the answer. And because it has to do with the cell rejuvenation, not,
Yes.
And it's interesting. I just started a new series, a new segment called Angel Investigations, because the angels lead me to things I research and they just tell me what to look. And it's not like I hear an angel talking. It's just, I know. I'm very connected with the angelic realm. And I'll know, search, eyesight and redox, anxiety and redox. Everything ties back to the redox signaling, every single thing. And so I did a segment about it. I said, guys, do your own research. Go look for yourself and see, this is the signal that gets lost between our cells. As damage occurs, as we get older, whatever's happening, even our thoughts, right? This is a powerful machine. It will support you or it will destroy you. And you don't know this, but my listeners do. I had Lyme disease for 8 years. 8 horrific years. Is one reason I closed my private practice as a speech pathologist, because I couldn't work anymore. Lost my marriage, a lot of things happened, but it all happened for me. Because one day I just said, God, I'm not supposed to be sick. I know that. I tried, traditional like the antibiotics and all the stuff they put you on, which makes you sicker. And tried, natural medicine, nothing. I would always just still be sick. Now it took me a year and I healed myself. And I talk about that I was able to heal myself, and I've been free of that I've lost track, maybe 6-7 years now. But I believe if I would have had ASEA then, I would have been able to heal myself without going through that 8 years, first of all. It would have healed so much faster. Yes, I learned a lot from that because I'm able to heal myself, but for whatever reason, I couldn't heal my knee with fluid on it. I did a lot of the same stuff I did then. So it's because I wasn't supposed to heal from that so that I could experience the healing from ASEA. Like it just clicked. I knew that, but I didn't know how to put it into words. Yeah. Michael's on it now, and he's funny. He'd be like, drink it. He'd chase it with water, and I'm just like, I told him a couple of times, no, I'm not supposed to do that, but I finally stopped. And one day he goes, I don't know if I'm getting much out of this, and I said, well, you're not taking it right. I've told you, I sent you the video, hold it in your mouth for a minute, then swallow it. Don't eat or drink for 5 minutes. Do you know now, because there's so many around him at his work that are getting sick? A lot of you are getting sick again right now. And he's like doing it right. He's like, I guess that was enough to get him into it.
Yes. Whatever motivates people, right?
Yeah, he's like, I'm on it. So he's doing it correctly. Now, the funny thing is, he'll come in front of me, make sure I see it, make sure I know. It's so hilarious. His mom does the same thing. She'll wait till I go to visit, then she'll do it in front of me. It's the cutest thing.
It is cute. It is cute.
Donna,
One of the things that they've realized is that redox, because when you were saying you were looking up all these different things and everything goes back to redox, redox is the energy that powers all life. So literally nothing happens in our body, in our pet's body. I see somebody talking about their dog, even in plants, because it's all cells. Nothing happens without a redox reaction. And
wow.
That's amazing that we have our hands on something that taps into redox. It's miraculous that we have this. It's just.
It is. I did an interview the other day and I was crying again. I was like, I'm so grateful that they didn't sell out because they had multi-million-dollar offers, more. And they said, what are you going to do with it? And they said, we're going to shut it down. And they're like, no. And the integrity of that, because they had 130 something people, that's it. And they still said no, because they knew what they had.
Yes.
And it was to be, hidden from us. So
I know.
I'm a crier. They all know that. I have this, I take after my dad. But Donna, I want to talk to you about your dog. Yes, dear. Try that. What I do is I put it in a glass eyedropper bottle. I have tiny dogs, so a syringe too much for them. They're too sensitive. But I squirt a few of the eyedroppers into their mouth. That's what I do, and they swallow it. This you might want to put the gel. I don't know. What do you think? Put the gel on the knee as well.
Yes, and also it depends on where that growth is for the dog, because you can. A couple of things with dogs. You can use a spray bottle and spray that area. If you can get to it with gel, absolutely.
Cool.
Some dogs drink right out of a bowl. Just remember, no metal bowls.
Yeah.
I know Danielle's dog, because he was found in the woods, emaciated. Somebody had just dumped him in the forest, and so she used ASEA and he came back, and he's such a sweet, healthy boy. But now she just says ASEA, and he comes running and laps it right out of the bowl. My dog, like yours, my dog will not drink it out of the bowl.
I wish mine did. No.
I have a little syringe I use. But however you can get it in them or on them. Dogs are, if you've got a dog with like a bare belly, not a shepherd that's super hairy on their belly, you can spray their belly, because remember, it's absorbed through the skin and it'll go right to work as well. So if it's really hard to get them to, even with a dropper or a spray bottle in their mouth, then do whatever it takes to get it onto their skin.
Cool. That's good to know, because I haven't sprayed it on their bellies, but I will. And my dog, Macy, she used to have anal gland leakage. That's not fun. We had to clean the couch stuff all the time. That's gone. She has that. She had it since birth. So that's gone now. She used to also vomit a lot. I never took her to the vet. I didn't. I'm not bigger about that. I make their own food now. And after she started the ASEA, she's no longer vomiting. She's fine. I also believe sometimes our pets take on our physical feelings and stuff going on with us. So if we have gut issues, they could have gut issues. And that's something to think about, because our pets, I believe, come to take our stuff, kind of like what we do with people. We take people's stuff, but we're not supposed to do that. So just think about that too. Something your dog's got going on. Do I have something going on? But it's completely healed her. But Don, I'd definitely be having him drink it. Again, if you have to do syringe, I'm going to get a syringe and try it, but they will not drink. She'll drink it if I put cheese in it, but then that causes the butt problem. So I'm not, no. Plus it's adding something to the water. So you're welcome.
I've heard different people who are involved with the animals and ASEA say that if your dog or cat really is like motivated by food and will lap it up immediately to get to that little piece of chicken or a little piece of whatever that's in it, and that's the only way to get them to drink it, then put an ounce, 2 ounces in their bowl or in something that they'll lap it up to get to that thing in the bottom. Because I have done that periodically, because 2 ounces by syringe takes forever.
Yeah.
And by the end, she's turning her head away from me.
Why did I do that? I didn't know I could do that. I could put a little piece of the chicken of their food in the water.
If they're fat, if they're motivated by food, my dog lives for food.
Okay, I'm gonna try that, because it's like I have to hold them still, hold their head, and I'm like, I tell them this could be easier if you just drink it.
I know.
Oh my gosh, this has been just enlightening and beautiful, and I know you guys can see her glow Lynn's glow, she glows, and just the epitome of joy. So starting right now, when we're done with the show, maybe getting out a journal, piece of paper, and start your gratitude journal of one thing you're grateful for right now, one thing, and then maybe tomorrow it's two things, or more will come to be grateful for as you're showing gratitude. If I'm in a lack space or victimhood or why me, you're going to attract more of that. Okay. And we all can have those triggers going on right now, but we're the ones that have to catch ourselves. Okay. We are the ones that came to save ourselves. We save ourselves, we heal ourselves, and then we share it with others how we did it. Right. And that's how I feel with whatever we find out, we're obligated to share. And that's why I'm preaching the gospel of ASEA, and I will forever. And I'm so grateful that this was, I know, created with Source involved. If you don't know that story, Source was involved. And it's just all happening. This is the time that we came to be here, guys. We're here for this time, to be the change you want to see in the world, right? And we are being that. Thank you, Lynn Matthews. I'm so grateful to you. I love you.
You are so welcome.
And I know you're already proud of your daughter. You have such an amazing, beautiful daughter who is a good friend of mine as well now. And one thing I can say, guys, with the ASEA team, it is a family of joy and love and support. And it just keeps giving. We just keep giving to one another. You see that below if you want to order, or go check out the website, juliatreat.teamasea.com. You can call me. People are freaking out. They get on the phone and talk to me. They're like, I can't believe I'm talking to you. I'm just like you guys. We're the same. But you can call me at 570-955-3594. I did change it. I had it wrong in the beginning. You can text or call, and I'll get on and help you order. Or if you want to join our Team Dragonfly, Daniel's team is Team Dragonfly. And then I have the team name right under that is Team Miracles. So join our team and change your life forever.
It will.
Thank you, Lynn. I'm blessed to know you. Blessed to have you.
Julia, thank you.
Friend and family. And everyone, have a blessed day. All right. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. If you're listening to the podcast, and I'll see you again very soon. Remember, hello, beautiful. Tell yourself that every day. I love you. Insert name. Okay. Blessings to you, all of you.